Yo, salute everyone. Salute. What's good? It's good, everybody out there. Knicks Real Talk, pregame, Knicks eating cheese steaks. We're going to be in here to get ready to break down the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers at the world most famous arena today. We're going to get it popping. We're going to break all of it down before the game today, matinee game, 1 o'clock. We're going to break it down, get into everything, man. So salute to everybody out there. Hope everybody doing well. They're ready to get it popping, man. I'm going to bring KJ in the building in a minute. We're going to sit down and talk about it, man. So on this wet Sunday down here, man, rain all over the place, a little cold, but it's cool, though. We're going to get into it, get it popping, and get into this Knick talk, man. We coming off that game we had against the Miami Heat the other day. Tough 4-game turnovers, but Star J. Barrett came up to the forefront, had it popping, had a good game overall, 46 points. Free throw was pretty tough for him, man. But we got to go get it popping, though, man. We got to try to win another game here at the world most famous arena today in Philly. And we're going to get into that, man. And let me break down all of the things, man, that way I can get KJ in the building with us, man. Real quick, man, let's start with the starting lineup today. For the New York Knicks, man, they're going with Alex Burks at shooting guard, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson at the center spot. For the Philadelphia 76ers, they got Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. On the injury front, for the Knicks, you got Kemba Walker out for the rest of the season. Derrick Rose with another surgery. And my man Quentin Grimes, who got hurt in the game against the Miami Heat, is going to be out a couple of weeks with that little knee injury that he had. So that's an injury report for both teams. Philly didn't really have no injury reports, by the way. So, and that is what it is with that, man. But hey, let me bring in my partner in crime, KJ. And the KJ is in the building. KJ, what's up, brother?
Devon, salute. Knicks Real Talk family. The chat is where it's at. Salute to all. Welcome to another edition of Knicks Real Talk. Knicks is here, guys. 22 games left. You know what, Devon? We'll talk about the Knicks a little bit. It's just amazing to me how this team can start off, and they've been doing it consistently. Mm-hmm. They've been starting off great. They run out of gas somehow, and to me, it's the team has it, but then after a while they just lose. I don't know if they just can't keep up with the pace. I'm not sure what it is, man. I just really want to start with that. Is there something that you're seeing that I'm not seeing, or we all not seeing, or why is this team the way they are?
I think overall, I just think that we losing our identity. First of all, I think we just lost our defense identity. Now I'll get into that and break that down later on. I just think we losing our defense identity, and then we did what Tibbs wanted everybody to do. We put the young guys, and they still raw though. Okay, they raw. But I just think that our defense identity, man, I think we just won't have it. We don't have no type of identity down here, man, whatsoever. Because this is not normally the Knicks team we normally used to seeing when they give them so many points, man. That's just not what we were built off all these years. And I just think this year, compared to last year, that's what we're missing. We just missing our identity, man. And we seem like I don't want to say we don't have a lot of dog in a lot of the guys, but that scrappiness, that competitive fire, man, because once you get in the game like that, I think that you should always be able to fight and scrap and keep it moving. I just think we're missing a little bit of that overall. I just think that we're missing that, that identity defensively wise, definitely. And I just think that, get guys like the Reddy Bullets and the Alpha Paynes of the world, they not the Kemba Walkers and the Fourniers, and these guys just don't seem like it don't seem like the grit is there like last year. You know what I mean? It seemed like we was real gritty last year. We was really play with a lot of intensity, a lot of passion, locked everybody down on the defense end. But lately we've been giving up all these points at the end of the game because I think that's part of it. I think the gas is part of it. But I think the last game, I think Tibbs did a good job of the way he rotated them people last game. But I just think that when it going to get tough, and the free throws, obviously, I think the free throws is killing the Knicks all year long. I think we wouldn't be where we at if it wasn't for the free throw. That we are at the way we are shooting at the line, the charity stripe this year. So I think that's one of the big things for me.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel like, every time RJ has a good game, others can't step like Julius Randle. Like if they could have combined games where they're hitting on all cylinders, the team is way better. Just things that I see in the game. And RJ should have went for like 50 plus. But just like you said, the free throws, he said it in the press conference, his free throws, he don't know what it is, but my man was so hot yesterday, Devon, and I just said to myself, going forward, I believe the Knicks got to build around R.J. Barrett. Mm-hmm. They have to build around this young man because he has something. And same thing happened last year. He started slow, then he picked up. Same thing happened this year. He started slow, and he really picked it up now. I felt like the other night he was going to make every single basket. You know, and the players, they were feeding him rightfully, so they fed him so much, but we need the others. And then also, it's time to put the signs up for McBride.
Yeah.
You know, Grimes is gone right now for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. 22 games left. We need to see McBride because what we see is happening with Quickly right now. He's not hitting his shot. He's getting in foul trouble early. We don't have to always bring back Berkson. Bring McBride off that bench. He has to insert himself. I don't want to. He only got 2 minutes last game. 2 minutes in the second. I think it was the second quarter. He put him in 2 minutes left, and that was the only time he got. 22 games left, Tibbs. We gotta insert that guy again. I'm gonna keep repeating this. We'll be 4 games back of the 10th seed, right? With Atlanta Hawks, right? Yep. Day 29, week 25. We still got time to make it. We can do it. I know a lot of fans want to tank, but you know this is New York City basketball. We need to win.
Yeah, real talk, man. I agree, man. You know, what's so frustrating for me is like Julius Randle, like he no matter this has been his whole career, no matter when he got a layoff and come out of the All-Star break, he never have a good game. It just goes back for so many years. And can you imagine if he would have had a good game last game? That'd have been a different story. You know, it's tough. But you got to give RJ Barrett his credit, man. That young man is in his own, man. He really is. And I agree with the Laker land for like don't let Harden and Embiid get hot because Randall or RJ really can't match them. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough thing for them. It's gonna be tough for Mitch. Embiid is playing at MVP level this year. He is really coming into his own, man. Now that you add a Harden there with then you got Tyrese Maxey playing pretty good ball down there. You have Thibault's a good defender. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But I'm hoping Knicks is up for the challenge. Like always, that game the other day, KJ, we was in that game for a long time. I just don't know why we couldn't get over it, man. But like I said, I think RJ showed me something, man. The level that he played at the other night. Like I said, once he go in the offseason and master that free throw line, he's gonna be a 25 a game scorer easy because he gets downhill, he gets to the rack. The 3 balls looking real good. I just think he, you know, for all that noise everybody was giving RJ because he might not be doing all the high flying dunks like Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. But think about a lot of aspects of the game that they don't do. You know what I mean? You know, and RJ is on. He's going. Like I said, man, he is going to be that dude, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get down, man, and moving forward. But I agree with you on one thing. I really would like to see that McBride thing, man. They got to get him in there. Man. Yeah. They got to get him in there.
And you know what, D? Oh, shout out, Sha.
Peace.
Hey, D, you know what? Also, look what RJ Barrett does. If we go back to that draft, Zion Williamson, number 1, John Morant, number 2, and RJ Barrett. You take all 3 of those guys, right? What does RJ do better than all of them? Play defense. RJ can play defense. He can shoot. He got an inside-out game. I'm here to say right now, guys, let me tell you, if RJ continues to play he was playing now going forward, we have an all-star for years to come in New York City. And RJ is we're gonna call him Star J Barrett for the come. So we have to see the sample size in 22 games. If not, if the Knicks go, I don't know, for the next 22 games, 10 and 21 or whatever the case may be, 10 and 21, 22. I'm sorry. Break everything up. Build around RJ and let bygones be bygones. We got draft picks, we got assets, and do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real talk. Let me bring my other brother. Salute my man, Shaw Powell. What's good, fam?
Salute, KJ. Peace, Divine. Salute. What's going down, chat? Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, coming off that, we were just talking about that loss the other night. Man, them turnovers, bro. You know, and turnovers is, I mean, it's been our Achilles heel all season, that and the free throw shooting. Man, I mean, it's so amazing. We were better at the free throws, the charity stripe, and we wasn't creating turnover. I think the Knicks would be in the 6th seed. Literally, if they wasn't turning that ball over like they do, missing them free throws all the time, it wouldn't matter what rotation Tibbs had in there. To me, is that them 2 things right there, and besides our defense being suspect, up and down this year. But that charity strike, man, and them turnovers, man. That 4th quarter, you see how many turnovers in a row we had against them dudes? I was like, oh my goodness, man. So we got to find a way to get that turnover situation, because I just think that obviously we know that's going to require real savvy point guards who know how to make sure them things don't happen. I think we just missing that, man. But they fought hard, man. It's just that them, like I said, man. R.J. Barrett eight, like maybe 6, 7, 8 free throws. He had a 50-piece locked down the other night. Easy 50-piece the other night. Yeah, you're right, Will. I agree with you on that as well. I want to see how we come out today, man. And he let Sims back up. Noel and Todd Kiss was available the other night. Shaw Power, but he did what the fan base wanted. He put Sims in there. You know what I mean? He let Sims back up Mitchell, and this would have been a game to me where you really needed Noel in them against them veteran savvy guys against Miami. You know what I mean? Because they were veterans, they savvy, and I think that experience that Todd Gibson could have gave. So it's almost like damn if you do, damn if you don't. You know what I mean? We got to develop a young guy in a game against Miami, who's a playoff caliber experienced team, one experienced guy going up against them to me. But overall, I'm happy that he let them guys get the burn, but they still a lot of them still raw. I like what Cam Reddish is looking like. I think he's gonna be all right. But I just think that the other day, though, that game against Miami, that was there for the taking for us.
Yeah, we were in the game pretty much the whole game, and I was super duper surprised to see Sims come off the bench as the backup for Mitch the other game. The downside to the game the other night, we lost Grimes, man, and man, we lost it for about maybe 2 weeks or so. So around the time that they're looking to see if D Rose come back, that'll probably be the time when McBride come back, and that's going to be a big loss for us right now. That loss from Grimes is going to be something that we're going to have to fight our way back to some type of something. I don't even know what to say, because him being out of the game is going to make it harder for us to defend, I think. But on the upside of everything, we may see a little bit more of Deuce today. With Grimes being out, I'm figuring that Deuce come in there and play some ball. And I just want to mention, Deuce played the other night, I think about 3 minutes or something like that, man. The guy had 1 assist and great defense, man. And I just don't understand why Tibbs don't want him to run that point guard for a little while, man. Let him run the point guard. Hopefully, maybe tonight, maybe today. I don't know what the starting lineup is looking like, but maybe today he could be one of the guys that we could at least get into the starting unit or into that second unit with IQ. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be another tough game, another big game for the Knicks to play today. And Harden's playing tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing the last couple of games. So yeah, it's gonna be a big matchup today in the East with these two teams. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, real quick, just to piggyback off of what Wayne said earlier. I agree with you, Wayne. He should have threw them guys in there a little earlier in the season to get them more acclimated. I understand you like your veterans. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm a Tibbs guy, but I think that's one thing I'm gonna always question Tibbs about. Why? And y'all guys heard me say it early in the year. I would have started McBride when Kimber went down, when they sat him. Even when they should have put that young man there by now, McBride would have been pretty good to go, because he would have got all that rhythm, that playing time, the experience. He would have went up against teams. Whether he had bagging or not, he still would have got the experience. I think by this time of the season, KJ, he probably been already locked in now, because he got to go through his ups and downs, his nicks and bruises in the course of the season. And by now, he probably would have been in a better situation where he can go out there and get it. And I just think that's one thing I could think they failed, is that dude right there. I think they should have really let that man get out there and play some basketball for the New York Knicks and got his foot wet and gave him more time and more opportunity. I think would have made a difference right now in the season, the way the injuries are occurring.
Right. Well, it's too easy for him in the G League. It's good that he gets playing time down there, but he's hurting the G League. Every time he gets down there, the man is a monster. He would be the G League MVP right now if he was down there. But you got to put this man on the court for what he provides. We're slacking that point guard position, so we need him in the game. For some reason, Tibbs is not playing him. And I want to say something back to Julius Randle. We talk about Julius Randle playing, but he almost had a triple-double early.
Absolutely.
So it's like, with Julius Randle, do we look at him like we know we need him to score that high point, But I don't think RJ would have had the amount of points if Julius is, with them
Facts.
playing together. Like I don't know if they could play together. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it doesn't seem consistent enough for them to play together. But that's here nor there. Maybe I'm overlooking it, but he does. Julius Randle still plays a good game.
Absolutely.
So that's what I really wanted to say. But as far as Deuce, we need that man in the game. I agree with you guys. Devon, start the man. Start the man at point. We've been hurting for point guard for years to come. You got a guy that can play that defense out there like that. Throw him out there. Again, you don't learn anything by sitting on the bench. He's been sitting there for a while waiting to get in. 2 minutes in the NBA game, 2 minutes in the game period, it's not going to make you better. And I do agree with you. If he was playing the same amount of time that Grimes was playing and they got to provide the opportunity, Deuce McBride will be on a different level right now in the NBA as far as on the Knicks team.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, and that's something that they're going to have to work through as the organization moving forward. Like I said, not like I said earlier before we came back into the after the All-Star break, these next 5 games pretty much going to determine how all that's going to go. I really believe the Knicks falling out of it. You're going to see them. And that's fine. I mean, you're never out of it till you're out of it, because it's like I said, it's a tough situation. You want to get Pete to get to the play-in, but at the same time, you really want these guys to get a lot of minutes. And to me, the Miami game, it kind of showed that a lot of them were still raw. They good, but they raw. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them turnovers occurred right with Cam Reddish and them guys at the pressure. You know what I mean? You ask them guys to go up against some of the best defenders in the league with Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. They done played more basketball than them young guys ever played in their career. So it's like a two-edged sword to me, whereas you put them in there, but that lack of experience kind of reared its ugly head in that fourth quarter because they was being outsmarted by the veteran guys. But at the same time, it was good to see that Tibbs put them in there. But I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to have to realize it's going to be nice when them guys are going to stink up the joint because they're young. So I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. Long as they develop it. And I think that's the reason why I want to see Deuce McBride there, because I think let him make his mistakes. I mean, you don't want to make it to the detriment of the team, because it's not fair for people like R.J. Barrett, all these guys who are really good, to have to take L's because the other guys making mistakes. Now that's kind of not fair, because you want everybody to be on a high level. So if you asking a guy to throw him in there, and he's making mistakes and it's causing the team to lose, and it happens with the veterans too, but they are veterans. You know what I mean? They get paid that money to do that. You know what I mean? The organization is not going to sit Evan Fournier, I don't think, even whether he make a mistake or not. I mean, because just the amount of money they pay this guy. But I do think them young guys, I think they want to come up, man. I like what I've seen out of Cam Reddish. I think he should be definitely getting more burn. And I like the way Tim did it the other day. He gave all of them opportunities. And I think they played pretty well under the circumstances. Shaw Powell being in the bright lights of Madison Square Garden and going against one of the top 2 teams in the East. And that guy was really, Jimmy Butler and them guys. But, they tried to hold their own. But some like my Cam, one thing I do like, Cam Reddish had made a crazy turnover. But what I love about him, he didn't let the turnover affect him. He rebounded, went down court, and created a turnover. And that's what you want to see. You just want to see them make mistakes, but learn as they go. And I really believe that man Cam Reddish is going to be special. I think Grimes going to be special. But we just got to let them throw Deuce McBride out there to let him be. And let's see if he's going to be special. Because that way you would know. You'll know if you're going to keep him or not. Much as we clamor for Deuce, the Knicks need to play him for we know as a fan base and as the organization, are you going to keep the guy long term? So I'm hoping that this game today and moving forward, that they get out there and let these young guys get out there really, really and just be part of it. And I have no problem with it, because I do think them guys played hard the other night. And I think Jericho Sims played hard, did the best he can against that tough team they got down there. That's a tough team to play against, man. And but he came out there and tried to play, man. That's all you can ask for. So I was happy with that he did play them young guys. He got them out there. And you take your nicks and bruises and your bumps as you go, and then you get better. And I think Tibbs did that. I won't say that we lost that game because of Tibbs the other day. I say we lost that game because of free throw shooting and turnovers. And I think what it all boiled down to, we just could not. I mean, like I said, we could not hit that chatty strike for nothing, man. I don't know if it's RJ's a built dude, right? He built like a center, you know what I mean? His muscle, I think he got to get in there and start shooting with his wrist, not shoot with all this. It's like, how the big dude, they so strong when they shoot the ball at clinks. I think RJ Clinton, because he's so strong, that he might need to get that wrist popping a little bit, man. But once he get that together, Shaw Powell, it's a wrap. It is a wrap once RJ get that free throw down.
Yeah, it hurt him, especially that last game where he could have been a post 50-point plus game for the season. But another upside that I did see in that last game is we finally got to see Reddish and RJ play on the same court at the same time. You know, they finally got a couple of minutes, not many, but they got a couple of minutes together. And I think looking forward to the latter years that's coming up, that I think that tandem together will be a good outlook for the New York Knicks. Give Reddish a little bit more minutes and somehow get him into that starting unit with RJ. I think that they could become a very formidable duo right there.
Yeah.
You know, another game, like I said, another big game, man, and hopefully we could come out here and play some defense. My big thing today, I'm all about McBride again. We got to see McBride. McBride may be the key to some things that we could do for these last 20, 21, 22 games left that we have. Maybe he could get a spark out of us and lead us in the right direction. At worst case scenario, to see where he's at and see if he's going to be our point guard of the future or if we're going to have to make another major move in the off season.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, salute to my man Marvin. Perspective from the other side, Marvin. I appreciate the sub the other day, my brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on with the crew, man, in the chat and everybody. Yeah, I mean it's that time to really now. Like I think we will see it, God. I really believe that after the first 5 games, it was going to be bad. We fight to get in the play in. If we can make it in there, that's fine. If we don't, then I think you will see these guys moving forward playing a lot because we don't have nothing to fight for now. So you could rest these guys like Fournier and all. You got to keep them from getting injured. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I do think that the next 4 games you'll see. Once I believe we lose these 2 games against Philly, it's over. I don't think we're coming back in there, especially if the Charlotte Hornets and the
Playing
Atlanta Hawks keep winning. If they win, I just think it's a wrap. So I do think that you just go full throttle, full development mode. I mean, I would go full development mode and bring on Lucas Samanich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why
Just
not?
bring up all the young guys, take the L's, but let them learn why they're taking the L. So let's hope that KJ that we want to see the Knicks win and get in the play in. And I think once if you ever get in there, you never know what happens. I
Right.
just believe that. But
It,
if we don't get in there, I just think that they should just get in and just bring the young guys in there, let them for the last 19, 18, whatever games, and just let them play, man. Let them play and learn. I think it'd be a good learning experience for them, especially with the amount of competition that we playing and going up on the West Coast for 7 games and things of that nature. I do think that it'd be a really good look for them guys to get that in there, man. So I would love to see that.
right. And I want to piggyback of Will Shankler's right. We got 4 games. We're back 4 games. True about that. So the move I would make right now in the short term, our bench is struggling. I would bring Evan Fournier off the bench and start Cam Reddish. Just because we don't know what IQ is gonna do, but Evan Fournier has been playing a lot better scoring wise. You bring a score off the bench because our scoring we took Alec Burke out that off the bench and he's starting now. So you have a lineup of Alec Burke, Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and Cam Reddish. Then you have a bench of IQ, Fournier with the Sims or Obi Toppin and an IQ. At least it balances itself out because if Fournier can give me a good 7-8 points off that unit, it balances everything out. And then we don't have to play RJ. We're playing RJ into the second quarter with the second unit. By then, the man is tired. So to me, it's like that has to change. It should change in the next 22 games, hopefully, but I doubt it because we said the start lineup already. But if I was coaching this team, that's what I would do to see how it works for balance. Because what does Cam Reddish provide? He might not be scoring a lot, but he does play defense. He does hustle. And we need that in that starting unit. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I second that 100% because and that's something that he needs to do. I think Fournier would be way better on the bench because to me the problem you having with what it is that our bench. Tibbs decided to put all the young guys on the bench. I think he need to mix it up. Like that's why I wanted Deuce McBride to start with the veterans and put a veteran on the bench with the young guys. You got to kind of mix it up. You know what I mean? You can't have all your starters with your senior leaders and your whole bench. No, you put McBride in there with Randall and RJ. It takes the pressure off of him. You know what I mean? You put Fournier in that second unit, it takes the pressure off the young guy because you got Fournier there who can hold it down for them. You know what I mean? I really believe right now, if I were the Knicks right now, I would be like Grimes, RJ, Cam Reddish, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
And then you go with quickly, you got Burks, you got Fournier, Obi, and Sims. You know what I mean? I think that's the way that it makes sense to me because you taking the youth and experience, you blend it together so you don't put all the pressure on the young guys. And I think much as I love that lineup I seen the other night with all them young dudes in there, but it was no experience in there. No experience to handle tough situations against teams like that. And which is fine because it's a learning curve for them guys. But I do think that it'll be interesting to see how they come out the gate today, see what Tibbs do from what I got on the starting lineup guy that was same little thing, Alex Burks, RJ, Fournier, Randall, and Mitch. But like I said, we're gonna see it in the next couple of games because I really do think they got to find a way to switch it up a little bit, shot powers, and just kind of match the youth with the. I just think it's so important to have. See, that's what Derrick Rose made a big difference for us because we had a veteran with the youth. Right. That's why we missing. That's why the Knicks we missing so much of him because we had a veteran guy like D Rose with quickly. It could have been with Grimes, could have been with Obi and them because he knows. You know what I mean? He knows how to handle this situation, calm him down when somebody about to make a run. You got to put the ball in Derrick Rose's hand. He ain't gonna choke or he won't get because he's not young. So I'm hoping that's what they would do, man. Because I think that's so important to keep the experience with the youth to kind of help them out and guide them through these things when they're on the court, like having that quarterback. And I think that the best thing the Knicks could do right now is put McBride in there with them veterans because it's not going to put a lot of pressure on him to perform. Chop Howard, he will not be under the pressure to have to score 20 or 30. We don't need him to do that. Play defense, pick up the catch from full court. When you open, shoot that J, pop it. And when you see Randall or RJ open in their spots, give them the ball, and then you let them do their thing. And I just think that's just so easy for him to get acclimated to instead of having him there with Obi, having him there with Grimes, having him there with that just is hard to do, man, because all them young guys don't have it yet. But we'll see. I think hopefully they start playing that young man. He need to play. Really
soon to come. We'll see in these next couple of games, man, because another with 4 games out, another 2 game. If we mishap and lose both of these games to Philadelphia, we'll be about 6.5 games out of the play-in. About that much, and we're going to see all the things we're talking about right now, and all the things we want to see. We're surely going to see it, and that lineup of McBride with Reddish, RJ, Mitch, and Randall. I would like to see that tonight. That would be a nice starting lineup for us tonight. That would get us. I think could probably get us out and running and stuff. Get Reddish on the court early so he can get some sweat off his brow so he can start hitting some shots. He plays pretty. His defense is good at times. He's lengthy. He's a long, lengthy guy. Sometimes I don't know if it's not for him not being on the court or not knowing the schemes of how the Knicks play right now. Once in a blue moon, you see him get beat or he's not in the right position where he should be or something like that. But that only comes with time, and that only comes with playing your position. Once you get to know your position, you know who's your man that you have to depend on and who you have to defer to when you have to help out. So when that happens, I mean, that would be a nice starting lineup right there to come out tonight. Unfortunately, we know Alec Burks is going to be out there tonight, and that's probably not going to happen to maybe like you said, these next 5 games. The 2 games, we got 3 more games to find out who's going to be starting and who's going to be coming off the bench, and how the rotation will be, who will get the extra flow of minutes, and who minutes will decrease over the next 21 games or so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and KJ, because I feel that's here. You got Deuce at the point, right? I'll keep the defender. RJ can move back to the 2 temporarily right now. He's a defender.
Beautiful.
Cam Reddish is a defender. Julius Randle can defend when he want to play. And you got Mitchell Robinson, a defender. You got 4 dudes in that lineup who's capable above average defenders. I
And
mean,
can score.
and our identity, which we've been lacking all year right now, is our defense. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, you gotta look at that down the line the next couple of games and say, you know what, man, we got guys get locked down, and we got cats who, because you think about it, RJ shoot the three good, Randall could hit the three. McBride, I know once he finally get his rhythm going, he can knock it down. You know what I mean? And then Reddish can knock it down. So you got defense and you got 3-point shooters still. And I just think that there's no way you can't say that don't work for me. I think that if the Knicks didn't make any moves next year, I would come in the next season with that starting lineup: McBride, Barrett, Cam Reddish, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. And let all them other cats go. Take all that free agent money, the Kemba, the Fournier, the Alex Burks, the Noels, Jetson. Just get them out of here.
Hey, I'm gonna say something that's gonna shock everybody right here. We might have actually kept Alfred Payton, and let me tell you, we all wanted a point guard that could score, that could shoot. Right? Payton's biggest deal, he couldn't make an open 3-pointer, but he can get to the lane and he can penetrate. A point guard's job is to make the team better. Deuce McBride, I'm saying if we start him or bring him off the bench, we don't really need him to score. If he scores, the plus. But what the man provides on defense and getting teammates available and open is what's needed right now for this team. Think about it. We can go back to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, when he came to the Knicks, he was a better shooter later on in his career. When he first came in the NBA, Jason Kidd was a pass first point guard. He didn't have a jump shot.
Right.
So I'm saying all to say is, whatever point guard comes in here, we don't need that point. The point guard, if he comes in here that can score, that's a plus for us. We need a guard that can get teammates better, that can take the ball out of Randall and RJ's hand and point them in the right direction, get those guys open. That's what we need. We just want to see McBride. And I would bring McBride off the bench because I think the starting unit is actually pretty good in the first quarter. I mean, we scored 32 points the other night, right? That's pretty good. So the problem is the second quarter is what we're doing, leaving RJ in. You bring in a guy like McBride with a Fournier off that bench, I'm telling you, we'll have a better turnout than what we're having right now, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. Even in that game, it's KJ, and I agree with you on the offense standpoint. We scored 32, but then we gave up like almost 30.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's been Achilles heel. Yeah, it's like we giving up too many points in the first quarter, and I just think that the Knicks identity got to go back to the number one thing: they defensive minded basketball team. And I do believe that, and I do think that this was what I think is going to happen. I think Tibbs will not get fired in the regular season. I think they're going to let Tibbs play out this year.
Yeah.
And then they'll take it from there. It don't mean make no sense to fire Tibbs right now. Just let him stay, because he got a 3-year guarantee. You know what I mean? And I think he will play out this year. I do believe that. Then we go into the offseason and see what happens. You know what I mean? And but whether it's going to be Johnny Bryant or whoever the case may be, they're going to shift this thing up and say, you know what, Tibbs, you gave us 2 good years. We're going to let you walk with that 3rd year in the contract. We're going to guarantee the money to you. We appreciate you. If that's what's going to be the outcome, who knows? But, like I said, I just want to say before the wins and losses, I just think we got to put that on everybody. Not only Tibbs, like I said, them free throws and them turnovers, man. And we've been getting eaten up all season with that, man. It's like we cannot hold that ball in the 4th quarter. We up 28 points against a team. You don't come back and let your team take you 28. You up 28 and you lose. Yeah, it's things like that somebody gonna have to be the scapegoat for this stuff. Obviously, you know what I mean. Obviously, it's not gonna be the front office. I don't think, and it's not gonna be the players, but it's gonna be Tibbs. But I do think a lot of this falls on the players' shoulders too, because they not performing. You know what I mean? They're not performing on the court like they should. Like even though Julius Randle came out of the All-Star break, he didn't score like he played well. Like KJ said, he had a lot of assists, a lot of rebounds. But when RJ went to the bench, and that's when he should have took over the game. Think about if Fournier didn't have a good game. I mean, these things has been like a shot power, like a reoccurring all year long. It's like when one of them not popping, the other one popping. If Fournier don't pop, Knicks don't win. If Randall ain't hot, Knicks don't win. So it's just sad because, like I said, it's tough when your players is not performing, but at the same time you're not making the right decisions. Maybe when it comes to lineup switches and lineup changes and minute substitutions. And you can nail Tibbs for that all day. I ain't got no problem with that because sometimes I don't like when he lead players in a long time. But like the other night, to me, Shaw Powers, when he did switch them guys out in there, it was too big for them. It was too big for them, and I'm glad he gave the young guys the burn the other night, but it was too big for them. You know what I mean? It was just too big. They were playing against a inferior team with a lot of experience, and it kind of reared its ugly head in that third and fourth quarter when the turnover started mounting. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. So, I mean, you give it, you got to give and get, I guess, a little bit. It's pros and cons of all of it. I just think that, once they realize they out of it, God, I really believe this Nick fan base of Nick and the chat and everybody. Once the Knicks realize they're not going to be in that play-in, I guarantee you're going to see them guys. Just like the other night. Nobody thought that they were going to see Sims the other night. Tibbs went along with what we wanted. We wanted to see the young guys. He sacrificed Tobbs, Gibson, and Nerlens Noel, who could have played, to play Sims the other night. He let Cam Reddish play. He let all of them play. So I think moving forward, I think that's what the front office probably telling Tibbs now. He probably saying, you know what, let these young guys go in there and play, man, because it don't like we're gonna be. I think that's what's happening now. I think he's getting it from upstairs. At least in my opinion, that they might be telling Tibbs, listen, if we ain't gonna fight for the thing, we can't get in it. Let's change it up. Let the young guys get some play so we can know we're going in the off season. Shot call. I think that's what it seems like is happening to me.
Yeah, I think they bring back Tibbs next year. I don't think Tibbs gets cut in the off season. I think they give him his last year on his contract. The one thing that I think they're going to do different to see if Tibbs gets that fourth year is give him players that he wants. I think they're going to. I think all of them gonna get around in the circle and do all their kumbayas and all this other stuff. But I think Tibbs is going to probably be the winner of next year. I think he's going to get him a point guard that he wants, and I think a couple of trades will be made where the starting lineup for next year will be totally almost different, a little more different than what it is this year. I think we get a different shooting guard slash small forward, and I think we get a bona fide point guard next year. And I also think that we'll probably be looking to either getting another big man somehow, some way. I don't know if my man Mitch is going to stay here. I hope Mitch stays here. I hope they offer him a contract and make him want to stay here. But if not, we may even have a different big man next year as well.
Yeah.
So I think Tibbs stays next year. I think Tibbs gets more of what he needs instead of what he wants, or probably more of what he wants than what he needs. I think he's going to get a point guard and a small forward slash that small forward shooting guard will be changed. So RJ will probably go back to the two, and maybe we'll see a remnants of Reddish coming into the being that small forward. And I don't think they're gonna let go of Randall. I think Randall will probably be here next year, and we'll see. I think, but Mitch is. I hope Mitch stays. But the big things that I think Tibbs is going to get this year is point guard that he likes, and there's a couple of them that's out there, and um, moving Reddish into that starting unit, and RJ going back to that too. I think that'll make it a potent starting unit. And then we'll work around everything else we got. The big thing I keep saying, if we go to win and we make it into the play in, that's great. But if we don't make it into the play in, our draft pick for next year can go up a couple of notches. I think we're at like 10th or 11th right now. We could get into the sixth, eighth, seventh spot or something like that. After they do the lottery, possibly we could be seven or greater, seven or six fifth, something like that. And that trade pick, that that draft pick will be something major in a deal to get a real big guy, Brogdon or somebody like that. I think Brogdon would probably come over here and help us out. There's a couple of guys out there. Brunson could come over here and help us out. But I think that trade pick is going to be a key to attaching that to like a Alec Burks or Noel, Fournier, with that trade pick will get us something that Thibodeau will want.
Yeah. I think salute to the chat, man. Salute to everybody with your wise thoughts and everybody bringing them in here, man. Salute to all you all, man. Keep it coming. I think we also got to put everything in perspective. At the beginning of the season, the Knicks came into the season what? Trying to fight to get higher in the playoffs. Am I right or wrong? Can we all agree that we were talking about 50 wins? We was trying to get up to take another step. You know, we flamed out in the first round last year. They brought in some players who they thought was going to help facilitate to get the team better to go to a higher, and it didn't happen. But if you look up and down the landscape of the NBA, and this is where I, where I try to bring some clarity and not see like I'm a homer or not a homer, but you look at every team in the East right now. If you let's say they go to Philly. Philly got veterans playing, they trying to go for it all. You got the Boston Celtics, they got veterans trying to go for it all. You know what I mean? You got the Brooklyn Nets, they got veterans trying to go for it all. The Toronto Raptors, veterans, they trying to get it popping. You know what I mean? You know, and then you can look at Milwaukee, they got veterans, they trying to get it popping. Miami, they got veterans, they trying to get it popping. You know what I mean? If you look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, you look at the Chicago Bulls, veterans trying to get it popping. Cleveland Cavaliers, other than Mobley, he's a raw talent. You know what I mean? He's rare. You know what I mean? But then they got Market and they got Jared Allen. They had Garland, like fourth year.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, veterans. Yeah, right. And I thought the Knicks was doing the same thing. They was going to compete for this stuff. Because think about it, Quickly is still young. He's playing for the Knicks, he's getting his minutes. And I do think Obi Toppin was getting them. Like the last game, to me, Obi Toppin was just he couldn't handle that Miami was throwing at him. You know, he's a young dude, and he could not handle what Miami was throwing at him. Quickly could not handle what they was throwing at him. You know what I mean? At least that game anyway. Sims, raw. When I mean raw. So I do think we just got to realize that that's why I said once the Knicks feel like they're not going to go in the play-in, then because Ted's been playing these guys. He's played them. They might not get a lot of minutes because maybe some of them not earning them. The only one that not really been playing was Deuce McBride and Sims. Everybody else was playing. And even with Reddish coming over here, you know, you can't just take Reddish, at least in my opinion, to bring him over here and just throw him in the fire, because he came over in a spot that the person that he got traded for wasn't even in the rotation. You know what I mean? Kevin Knox wasn't even in the rotation. So I think, you know, you ask him to come that fast, don't know the system, don't know this near, and just throw him in there. And I think Tibbs tried to bring him on gradually, and I think he has been doing it. He's been getting more and more minutes. Every game, Cam Reddish playing more and more. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with that. But now, while they were fighting for the playoffs at the beginning of the season, I think it was, you know, McBride got in, Grind got in because somebody got injured. And we might not have seen him. Stubbornness, he might not have seen him if Derrick Rose when it went down. So it's tough. But now there is no excuse for Tom Thibodeau now. Tom Thibodeau, they got no excuse. The Knicks not going nowhere. Put them young men in there. Let them play 40 minutes. Let them play 30 minutes. Let them play 29, 30 minutes. Now there's no excuse to develop them now. You know, but I can understand at the beginning of the season when we were trying to fight for that highest seed, looked like we were going to try to get in there and get in the playoffs and do all that good stuff. I understand why he did it. But now, as the season was going on, when he had bench Kemba, I think his first mistake was not giving McBride that burn then. I do believe that, KJ. When he took Kemba Walker out the rotation, he should have picked McBride in that lineup. That's number one. You know what I mean? So you got to give him his penalty for what he didn't do. But you know, and at the same time, you got to give him the reward for things that he did. I just think that I think that the whole thing was a tough, man, when they brought in Fournier and Kemba Walker. It changed the whole dynamic of the season to me. Nerlens Noel playing like 20 games. He not even there. He missed MIA. You know, it was tough, man. And that we put a lot of pressure on the young guy to win games. I think Knicks was trying to win games. And I understand where they was at the beginning of the season. They were trying to win games.
Right.
And when you ask a raw talent to come here, who only been in the league 3 months, 2 months, 3 months to have to try to win in the NBA, it's not that simple unless you're just pure talent. So we got to see how it go from here. But I think the young guy's gonna get a lot of burn pretty soon. That I'm not worried about.
Right. Well, what happened was we rolled the dice and we rolled and we crapped out. That's all. It's simple. This is exactly what happened. Think about it.
Exactly.
41-31. I know we keep harping, but we got to go back to last year because everything I'm about to say harps with them last year. 4-1, and then we go 4-1 against Atlanta. We only go one game. In the off season, we said as a Knicks fan base, we got to get rid of Alfred Payton. If Bullock or Alec Burke, we'll keep either one, right? But the biggest thing was point guard play, right? D Rose did his thing. Julius Randle disappeared, and RJ wasn't really there. I think Mitchell Robinson played better too. So, I mean, yeah, he came back. So we all clamored for that point guard that we needed. So all season comes along, it's guys like Kelly Oubre out there, it's guys like Tucker out there, it's guys like DeRozan out there, it's guys like Levine out there. We ain't getting none of them. So we bring in Evan Fournier. We see Evan Fournier. The Olympics is on. We watch the Olympics. Evan Fournier is doing his thing. Then we look at the past games what Evan Fournier does when he plays the Knicks. Evan Fournier has good games against the Knicks. So we're like, you know what? That's better. That's a better shooter. He can create off the dribble. His defense might not be as good, but he does something that we haven't had in a long time, right? And then the big acquisition is when we got Kemba Walker for what we got him for. So it's safe to say that the majority of the Knicks fan base was on when we heard we got Kemba Walker with Evan Fournier. We were always excited because we didn't know what it looked like. Some of us said, you know what, guys, it may work or can't work. The defense might struggle. Some of us did say that, right? But we didn't know it was going to be this much. So is it safe to say that, guys, honestly, these guys they rolled the dice and they were wrong? No problem. So we're going 1-on-1, 1-for-1. So I do agree with you, Shy. I think Tibbs gets another chance next year. And then after next year, that's when all gloves are off.
Mm-hmm.
Things, hey, listen, if we go into season again next year with the same exact problems, we might see a whole front office change along with the coaching staff. But again, 22 games left, Divine and Shot. We went 16-4 in the last 20 games last year. So I am not holding out right now. We still have it. And Devon, you say it best. Winning changes everything. If we're winning right now, we're not talking all this talk about this person next year, this person next year. We just got to win a couple games.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it boiled down to me because I go back to last year. He played the young guys. RJ Barrett was only a 2-year dude last year.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly was a rookie. Obi was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they
Mitch,
played these dudes
Mitch
all
also.
season.
Mitch
Tibbs
also.
played these dudes the whole season last year.
Crazy, right?
Quickly, RJ, only a 2nd-year player. Obi Toppin was a rookie. The difference last year than this year, we was winning. If we was winning right now, y'all wouldn't hear this Tibbs mess. You would not hear it because winning cures everything. Let's look at the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks is not where they were last year. Think about it. Atlanta Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals almost last year. This year, they down there where we at. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's to me, winning cures everything. Like I said, when we was 11-3, we went in them 11 and we went 8-3. But nobody clamoring for nobody's jobs here because we was winning. Winning cures everything. When you losing, there's always going to be scapegoats because when we was winning, we was winning with Sims. Granted, they not getting a burn. I get it because, like I said, there's not a team in the East right now that's fighting for the playoffs that's playing young guys like that. They're not. If somebody could prove me wrong, go down the Eastern Conference and tell me which top 10 of them teams are playing young guys on a regular. None of them. None of them. Not one team in the top 10 is playing young guys on the regular. None of them. Because they fighting for the playoffs. And that's what Tibbs was doing. The Knicks, if that were the case, you know what? They didn't have to bring in Fournier. If they didn't have to bring in Kemba Walker, they could have rolled with Deuce McBride off the jump. They didn't have to sign these dudes. Right. If they really felt like Chicago got only person young on Chicago is Patrick Williams. Levine is a veteran. DeMar DeRozan is a veteran. You know what I mean? Lonzo Ball is considered a veteran, 4 or 5 years more. Vucevic is a veteran. The only one in that starting lineup that wasn't a veteran was Patrick Williams. That's it. Like you go to Cleveland, Jared Allen been around. They not old. I'm not talking about old guys. I'm just talking about considered veterans. You look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, Jared Allen been around. Mobley's a young guy. Market had been around. Garland been in the league 3 or 4 years. So he considered, I'm talking about veterans, like 10-year guys who've been in the league long enough to understand the nuances of the NBA. Then you go to the point guard. Colin Sexton was going on his 4th year. A lot of these teams, guys, they got made. Like I said, we playing rookies. We might not be giving them the burn, but I think because we was going for the playoffs at the beginning of the year, I really believe that. It's not that it was right. I think Tibbs was playing a young guy religiously. But I think the way the Knicks was built and the way they tried to do this thing from last year, they wanted to go back with the same thing they did last year. Alfred Payton started for the Knicks last year. Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Randall, and Mitchell, whoever at that time. He still went with his veterans last year. He had only young dude in that starting lineup last year for Knicks was R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson when he wasn't hurt. Everybody else they've been around because that's what they would fight. That's why they got to the playoffs. They got to the playoffs because they had veteran guys in there mixed with the young guys, but the veterans was more or less getting a lot of the burn. If you look up and down the Eastern Conference, I still think that's the way it is. Charlotte, and I agree with it. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier is not young.
No, he's not.
He's not young.
Charlotte's probably about the youngest.
What's his name? Marshall Plumlee is not young.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And Gordon Hayward is not young.
It's not.
Right.
They're not young. They got young talent, but they're not starting a lot. The only one starting that young is LaMelo Ball. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think that, if you look at the landscape of the NBA, Tibbs is not the only one doing this. This is what I'm trying to say. The whole Eastern Conference is doing it. The whole Western Conference is doing it. It ain't only Tibbs. It's all of them doing it because they believe that when you don't have the experience, you get in a situation where you can't handle it. And I just think that's all it is, man. I think that, like I said, we playing the young guys, man. R.J. Barrett is young. He's 20 year lead. Mitchell Robinson is considered young. You know what I mean? I just think that when the guys get in there, they got to take advantage, especially Obi Toppin. But you can say what we want to say. Obi Toppin defense is atrocious. He gets his opportunities, guys. He got a good opportunity the other day. He didn't even come through. His defense is atrocious. And then look at what we were last year and look at this year. We were the top defending team in the conference last year. The New York Knicks were top 4 defensively last year in the East in the whole NBA. The top 4. Now look at us. Because we don't got no defenders down there. Kemba Walker can't defend. Fournier can't defend. Only Mitchell Robinson and RJ and Randall when he wanted to defend. And that's why I can understand why he needed to throw McBride. That's why I said, and when Kemba Walker went down, throw McBride in there. Because the young man could defend. He could defend. And that's the only reason I was disappointed with Tibbs for not playing him more than anybody. Like, man, you ain't got no point guards, KJ. Your point guard's sticking it up. Why you don't got McBride in there? Because he's a defender. And he's Alfred Payton with a jump shot. So
yeah, it's interesting, man. Because these guys been around the NBA for a long time, and it's like what do you first from a stand base, we could point these things out, and it's like, why are you doing this? It's what is it? What's really going on? So we've been saying this over and over again. Tonight, there's no excuse for that. There's no Grimes. You got a 9-man rotation round. Make it 10-man rotation. That's your 10-man rotation. Put that man in the game. I'm almost guaranteeing, even if he's not scoring, he's providing that defense that we need. And we just don't know why he's not doing it. And it's frustrating as a fan base because we like, yo, put the guy in. Put him in the game. And one thing I want to bring up is also, guys, if we look back at our past coaches over the past 5 years, Tibbs is probably our best coach, right? You think about Derek Fisher, the Jeff Hornaceks,
Kurt Rambis.
You think about these guys in the past and look how long, besides Mike Woodson, look how long we had to withhold the coaching staff. And that's why I say, sometimes Tibbs gets a bad break, but you know what? We deserve better in New York City. And it's like, man, all we ask is that he just listen to us on certain rotations. Get him out of here. Get the players in the game that's needed. Because it's frustrating as a Knicks fan because we don't know which way he's going. Now, again, he brought in Sims the other night. He might bring in McBride earlier. Think about it. Look what's happening right now. Emmanuel quickly is struggling right now.
Yep.
So if he's struggling, bring in McBride. Just throw something else in. Guess what's going to happen quickly? He might step his game like, oh, man, I lost my rotation spot. Now, when I get back in the game, I'm going to play even harder. I'm going to try to make them shots. So something has to change. Again, it's 22 games left. Could change, but if it doesn't, guys, I think this is going to be the last. If it doesn't change, I think this is the last we've seen of Grimes for this year. Because it just don't. It just if we're losing, it just doesn't make sense to bring him back right now. 2-3 weeks, the season's over in 2-3 weeks. It doesn't make sense to bring him back. Let him go into all season, prepare his body, and get ready for next year.
Season over by next week. Season could be over by next week.
Check this out. Who took advantage of that opportunity for the Knicks?
Facts.
Good question.
Quentin Grimes is playing because he took advantage
Grimes.
of his opportunity. The man came in there and balled out, and he demanded tips, keep him in there. Obi Toppin ain't doing that. Quickly, they're not doing that. Quentin Grimes came in and said, you know what? I'm going to make this coach keep me in this joint.
Right.
When you get an opportunity, I don't care what you do in life, when somebody give you an opportunity, man, you better take advantage of it. Quentin Grimes took advantage of his opportunity, and that's why he's playing. He's young. He's a rookie. Why Obi Toppin ain't taking advantage of his opportunity? Why Quickly not taking advantage of his opportunity? These guys got the same opportunity that RJ got. You got the same opportunity that Grimes. What did RJ do in his rookie year? He took advantage of his opportunity. What is Quentin Grimes doing right now? He's taking advantage of his opportunity, and he producing. When Obi Toppin get in the game, Obi, you know what you do? Before you make a point, block a shot. Get a rebound. Do something to make Tips say it could do something to make you have to want to be in there. You know what I mean? And I agree with that. I agree with whether he got the opportunity or not, whether he only got it but he did get it and he took advantage of it. So I listen, guys, I'm not defending Tips by no means. I'm not defending him, but you also can't put the whole season on Tips. The players got to hit free throws. They got to stop committing turnovers. They got to play defense. They got to get up. When you got a team coming up against you, you got to go out there on the court and play. Quentin Grimes be getting up in his man's grill. Mm-hmm. He taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? And I believe that's why he playing. Because listen, if Derrick Rose didn't get hurt, he probably wouldn't even see him. Now we could say, Tip, you know you suck because you ain't playing nobody. But at the same time, think about this game last game. Obi Toppin had. Look at his box scores, bro. The man get burnt on defense every time he's in there. Every time that boy play, he get burnt. So what do Ted do? You want? I see why Julius Randle got to play 20, 30 minutes sometime because Obi Toppin is so up and down. What do you want him to do? You want him to keep Obi Toppin in the game, not doing nothing? I don't think that's fair. So I think that our young player, they getting the opportunity, but they got to take advantage. Like Quickly had a good rookie year. Averaging 11 a game, had like 4 games where he dropped 30. He was even this year, he in a slump right now, but he's still playing. He's still playing. He's still getting the same minutes.
All right.
So I think the only one for me is McBride personally. I think McBride is the only one that's really not getting the minutes that he should be getting. Cam Reddish is getting them. He's getting more and more. As you look at Cam Reddish since he came to the Knicks, each and every game he's getting more and more minutes because he's showing improvement more and more to me. I just think that's the way you have to do it. So if Tibbs out of here next year, and if the next coach come in here, and these players do the same thing, you know what y'all gonna say?
Mm-hmm. Get them out of here.
If these boys come in here and don't put it on the floor, don't hit their free throw shots, don't commit turnovers, don't rebound, don't do the right things, no matter what coach you have. If the players ain't performing, it don't even matter what coach is in here. So we got to see next year. I'm with the fan base. Y'all want Tibbs out of here? Ship him out. I ain't got no problem with it. But when the next coach come in here and they not winning, you're going to see that it wasn't only Tibbs. Sometimes we might just don't have the talent that we think we might have there. You know what you're doing in the G League don't always translate to the top level. Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't. You know what I mean? These young guys is young, man. You asking young guys to come in here and save the Knicks franchise. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think they built like that. Jericho Sims with the 58th pick. He is not better than Todd Gibson. He's not going to contribute to winning more than Todd Gibson. I don't care what nobody say. He can't do what Todd Gibson can do. He don't shoot a jump shot like Todd Gibson. He don't know how to rebound like Todd Gibson. He don't know how to defend like Todd Gibson. You know, I haven't seen that yet. So if you think that Jericho Sims is going to help the Knicks win more than Todd Gibson, y'all must have been watching enough basketball to me. I don't think that. But now, if you want the Knicks to go young and rebuild, I'm for it. If you want the Knicks to just go a total rebuild, then you scrap everybody and let all the young guys play. Because if you wanted to win games, the young guys is not winning the Knicks basketball game. I'm sorry. That's why a lot of teams in the NBA is where they at, because they playing a lot of like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Nets and the Sixers and everybody in the Eastern Conference. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford. All these. Why do you think they winning basketball games? Why do you think they winning games? So if you want the Knicks to win, they're not going to win playing a bunch of young guys. But if you want them to just to develop the young guys, then that's a different story. So you got to pick your poison. Whether you want the Knicks to win and compete, or you just want to go through a rebuild. There's only way it's going to be, because you can't win with the young guys. They're not talented enough to win games on a consistent level every night in the NBA. I haven't seen it. I've been watching NBA for 50 years. I haven't never seen that happen. Until we get to that level, it's a different story. Now, if you want to mix and match the young guys with the veterans, then that's the way you go. You know what I mean? I just think that's the way you go. Shaw Powell, I just don't think there's no other way to meet that you can do it.
Yeah, one of the big things that from last year to this year is a little bit of a lot of our defense. Last year we were holding teams like 100 points and under. This year we're averaging about 100. We're giving up about 107 points a game on average. So our defense this year is nothing like we had last year. We talk about Alfred Pay and Bullock, and we wanted them gone, but those guys did play somewhat better defense than Kemba and Fournier this year.
Nice.
On the other side of that, man, the team that we have this year is a team that I don't think Tibbs really fathomed that he would have. Tibbs is a defensive coach, man, and some of the guys that we brung in this year, i.e. Kemba and Fournier, are not defensive-minded guys. And if you watch the games with Kemba in there, Kemba gets cooked. You watch the games, and Fournier plays better defense than I thought. He's got better, but some games he gets cooked, or he makes a bad foul when he gets beat on defense. You know, so next year, I mean, I'm like KJ said, 16-4, man. We did that last year. I believe we could do that again this year. Next year, the option, I believe Tibbs would be here, and Tibbs would get a player or two that he really wants to be here, that's more defensive minded, to restructure that starting unit, and someone to help on that second unit. However it comes together, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that next year Tibbs is here and he gets the two guys that we got this year. I think we get two different guys to fill that void that we had this year on our defense.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on this level here. I think, you know, like I said, if you want to at 100%, I think if you want to blame Tip for 30% of the losing this year, I'm cool with that. I'm blaming the player for 70% of that. You came into the season with a point guard who needs is done.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Kemba Walker didn't have a better year than Alfred Payton did. Real talk. He did not have a better year than Alfred Payton, KJ. And his defense and having Fournier, he's not an on-the-ball defender. He's a good, maybe I can get in the lane every now and then to get a steal or a reach. But he came in with Kemba Walker. Tibbs didn't want no Kemba Walker.
Mm-mm.
Tibbs didn't ask for that. And you gotta give a coach a player that he need to win games that's used to his system. Last year he had players in his system that was dogs. Alfred Payton is a dog. You might not like his offense game, but he wasn't punking and backing down for nobody. We don't got that. Reggie Bullock defended the best wings in the league last year. I mean, hands down, he was guarding the best threes in the league all year long last year, Reggie Bullock. We don't got that. Now you ask on RJ to do what Reggie Bullock did on the defense end for the Knicks. Now, so you talk about you losing two prominent defenders, and they got attitude, bully attitude. You take them out. You put in Kemba Walker. You put in Evan Fournier. You lose Nerlens Noel the whole season, basically, coming off the gate. Didn't play preseason. Didn't even start it. And you add Mitchell coming off a 9-month hiatus, out of shape, and throw him right in the custom. Just throw him right in the thrust of the starting lineup at the beginning of the year. RJ wasn't there yet. He was getting there. He had a slow start. All these things played a role in why, the season went the way it went. But I don't think it wasn't because it wasn't they wasn't about. And then you lose Derrick Rose. You lose Derrick Rose, your backup point guard, almost the whole entire second half of the season, December to now. And
put this not to cut you off, Divine, but to put that out there too. Noel also, we missed Noel this year as bad as we had, as bad as Mr. 150 is. We missed Noel a lot this year.
Missed a lot, yeah. You missed his defense, man. He was in the top of the food chain last year in defense for the Knicks last year in the NBA. So you take all that into consideration with the COVID protocol, people in and out, just like every other team went through it too. But KJ, I just think that a lot of things went through the Knicks season that it just caused it to go this way. Right. And I just think that sometimes we can't always just put it on like the coach is sorry. Because when Tibbs one coach did last year, when was the last time we had a guy come in New York City and have a team with a 500 record? I don't care what the season was like there. I don't care if it was COVID or not. Everybody in the NBA had the chance to do the same thing. The Knicks and every other 29 team. They had the same opportunities last year. And Tom Thibodeau took them Knicks with them gritty ball players. That's why last year I was naming them the New York City Gritty Committee. For that reason last year, they was gritty, bro. They was hard, fighting, scrapping like 90s Knicks. They weren't taking no BS. This year, they don't have it, and the season's the way it's at. And I just think that, we got to now you got to take that into consideration. Then, like I said, you asking God to come in there and do things that these guys can't do. And until somebody prove me wrong, then you got to prove me wrong because I don't see it. Like I said, the Sims played the other night. He played the other night. Cam played the other night. Cam had a decent game. These guys played. They play. It's just that sometimes, they not ready for the moment because I think it'd be different going into the next season or two or three games from now when they play all the time and it's repetition. I just think that the way the Knicks was fighting with the team they put together, that's why I said you got to look at the front office too. Don't throw everything on Tibbs. Look at the front office too. The front office brought these players in here. They brought them in. They put them in there. Tibbs wrote what he had.
So through 60 games right now, we're 25 and 35. We had 60 games, right? Noel has only played in 26 of the 60 games.
I don't even remember all of those.
So I agree with you. He's a big part. Mitchell Robinson gets injured or whatever the case, he's tired. Noel came in, he held us down in the last 31 games. Noel's a big part of that. And that's part of the reason why, too. So it's a whole lot of things that went wrong.
Yep.
We weren't a 3-point team that we're supposed to be. We're terrible in 3-pointers. So it's like we are a 3-point team. We make our 3-pointers, nobody can really beat us. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want to say going forward. If we make our threes, we win. We win these games easily.
That's right.
Because we got people that can shoot these threes. It's just right now we're just basically all over it. We have a direction, but once we hit the direction, we go left, right, up, down, side to side, circles. It's going everywhere. And what I'm saying is we're in these games. We're in all these games. It's just we just can't get it done. But we do believe that we can turn it. If it doesn't turn, guys, what 3 players would you like to see return next year on the New York Knicks? 3.
For me, it's R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and Quentin Grimes. I would have to throw Cam Reddish in there because I think he's uber talented. So you had to at least give me 4. But if I had 4 mainstays, it would be Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and Cam Reddish.
Yeah, that's a starting unit right there. Because if you was to ask me for 3 guys that I would like to see here next year, It would definitely be Mitchell Robinson. That's my number one. I think RJ is here for the duration. So RJ Barrett and I would have to say McBride. I could go with McBride. I'm sorry, Grimes. I could go with a Grimes. I could go
Right.
for a Grimes to see those three guys being like a foundational staple. And if I had the three plus one more, I would also say Reddish because I believe that Reddish and RJ are going to be a tandem to be dealt with in the next couple of years coming. So if it's my first three, but that one that's just right there next to Grimes would be Reddish, But my three would be Mitch, RJ, and Grimes.
So I should have rephrased that question. I should have said what I should have said was, what three players do you want to have this team going forward? We drop every other player on this team, but what three main players do we want? So we all the same, right? I agree with you.
I like
Going forward, if
Brian,
New York,
RJ, and Mitch.
okay, right, I'm with that. If the Knicks said, you know what, you guys in charge of the Knicks, you could only go with three players, I'm doing the same thing. Give me Grimes, give me Mitch, give me RJ. Those are my three. And I'm saying this to say is, who's to say that can't happen going forward now for this summer? With all the draft picks we may have, it's like, you know what? If we don't see this team going forward, we don't see that Julius and RJ can play together based on these games, they might say, you know what, guys, we're going to blow this whole thing up and we're going to save a whole lot of money.
Yeah. And let me ask Keith Turner. Keith Turner, I like getting the chat involved because you guys is wide. Now I want to make sure I understand. What point guard did the front office give Tom Thibodeau? I want to hear this one. Because you say they gave it Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker ain't even been there. They didn't give Tip no point guard. What point guard did the Knicks brought in? What point guard did the Knicks bring in to help Tom Thibodeau?
Yeah, it won't be
You can't
this
say
year.
Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker only played what?
20-something games as well,
With a
right?
bad knee. No, he's not. See, that's what I'm trying to say. Now that you could have kept Alfred Payton.
He might be saying McBride, maybe. You know, maybe McBride.
This dude, the Knicks was going for a play. The Knicks was going to try to get in the second round of the playoff. They was bringing in players to compete. McBride was not ready. He was not ready to be the Knicks boy. If let me tell you something. If he was, he'd be playing. He'd be playing.
That's what he's saying, though.
Tiz might be stubborn. He might be this here, but he might see things we don't see in practice. He might see this. He might see that. He's a veteran type of guy. I get it. I'm not defending Tiz, but you cannot say that Alfred McBride would have pretty much got us. And I'm the one who wanted to start McBride. I think he would have helped the Knicks better than they are now. That's why I wanted them to start McBride. And y'all guys can go back and check the video footage before the halfway. I said when they sat Kemba Walker down, I said they should start Deuce McBride. People was like, nah, he ain't ready to start him. He ain't ready. I'm like, why don't start him? I think that was his biggest blunder was McBride. Out of all of it was McBride. But I still don't think that the Knicks organization gave Tiz what he needed because you know why? Scott Perry wanted DeMar DeRozan. They whiffed on it. Scott Perry said, bring DeRozan in here. You gave Evan Fournier $19 million, and you could have gave my man DeRozan $3-4 more million.
I would have even been good with Oubre and Ball. I'd have been fine with Oubre and Ball. I'd have been okay with that.
Exactly. That's what I wanted. I wanted Kelly Oubre. I was like, man, won't sign Kelly Oubre? You know what I mean?
He wanted to be here.
Who could defend? You got to put guys in Tibbs' system who does what Tom Thibodeau do. Tom Thibodeau is a defense-minded coach. That's why I'm disappointed with the McBride thing. That's the only thing I'm disappointed with. I'm not disappointed with Jericho saying he was the 58th pick. I get it. I see games where he athletic, he can jump out of the gym and dunk, but I also see time when that boy get ate up.
I don't know where to be at.
Yeah, look at Obi Toppin. This is his second year.
A little clumsy.
Obi Toppin fly out the gym. He got skills, but Obi Toppin and Hickle KJ's biggest thing all year long. Inconsistent. KJ's number one thing all year was that's Obi Toppin. 1 minute he here, one game he have a good game. Next game he drop it out. I watched Obi Toppin the other night. I'm like, Obi Toppin, You can jump almost touch the backboard. You cannot block 2 shots a game. His instincts is terrible on defense. Literally, he got terrible instincts on it. And it's not a knock. I'm just dealing with the realism of it. I'm like, the dude got to get out there and play defense. Kemba Walker's not a defender. Ever Fournier's not a defender. They brought dudes into the New York Knicks organization that did not fit what we tried to do because they were trying to sacrifice a little bit of defense to get a better offense. And it backfired. You know, so I think, man, listen, I'm with you, Shaw Powers. I think if they do let Ted go, I'm cool. But like I said, you know, Ted's record speak for itself, man. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, that man is a hard nose. When you know what, he got a winning percentage over so many games in the NBA. He's not a losing coach. He's not a losing coach whatsoever. This is his second coach of the year. It ain't like this is his first one. Even if you want to even call last year a fluke, he won coach of the year before. You know what I mean?
This is my thing with his 3 years right now. The first year, amazing year last year. A real gritty year for Tibbs last year. Made the coach of the year, got us into the playoffs, and you know, elevated the team. This year, with the players that he had, he's trying to get us close to some remnants of what we had last year. Hopefully, we could push forward and probably get somewhere close to that, at least into a playing position. If not, then I would give him the third year to see where he can propel this team to, because if we're going to trade him, we need to at least lay down a foundation for someone to you know, to come after him to build on. Right now, our foundation is strictly young guys. Our older vets are not going to be here next year, and there's going to be some moves to be made in the off season. So we probably won't see a Kemba Walker. We probably won't see a Burks next year. We probably won't see a Noel next year. We probably won't see who else I'm missing? Fournier. We might not see Fournier next year. So with all those people coming out of the lineup, that's about 5 people right there. I think with the money that we get off our books, and with our trade package, not our trade package, draft picks, I think we can come together and have a better season with a better looking team next year. I see some guys that I think Tibbs like out there as a point guard that he would like to have here as a point guard. And I think if we could get off of Fournier's deal, that would be real big for the guys on the team, because now we could sign someone for that, you know, we could make some signs and sign someone with that $19 million for Fournier, and be better prepared for years to come.
Yeah. Hey, listen, hey, D Nice, I agree with you 100%. Every player is not a shutdown defender. I agree with that. But sometimes they might not say have to be a shutdown defender. They fit the scheme of the defense. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't only have to be a good player sometimes, because you might have players in your lineup that could cover you on the defense. And the problem with the New York Knicks is that they don't have enough skilled players to cover to cover Kemba Walker and Fournier. You understand what I'm saying, KJ? Like, it'd be different if they had other guys who, when you got 2 guys in your backcourt who are turnstile defenders, it's just hard. Look at the Knicks games, man, that they getting burnt in that backcourt. So I agree with Keith Turner. I'm not defending Tibbs by no means about what like I said earlier, if you listen to me in the stream, I'm disappointed in the way Tibbs is doing the rotations. But what I'm saying is, at the same time, that's not the only reason why we lose a basketball game, because it's about wins and losses. We came in this season talking about we want to go here. We want to talk about developing the team. When everybody came into the season, all of us, we said we talk about the Knicks winning 50 games, 52 games. We wasn't talking about developing nobody. We didn't even think these guys was going to get any burn this year. We didn't even think we were going to see McBride. We didn't even think we were going to see Deuce Grimes. We did not think we were going to see none of these guys at the beginning of the year.
Sure did.
We thought that we was going to be trying to fight for the playoff, to go to the second, third, or second round. That's what we all thought. But when the season went awry, things changed. And that's my thing is when I came into my expectation for the Knicks this year was to come in here to try to get out of that first round of the playoffs because we looked at kind of weak coming out of that first round. So even though we drafted these young guys and they looked good at summer league, I still don't think a lot of people thought they were going to see a lot of these guys because they knew that how Tibbs wasn't getting down. I thought we were going to we brought back the guys we brought back because they helped us win. So when Kemba Walker's situation failed miserably, with Tibbs failed that number one to me was he did not play McBride. Point blank. That was the worst one to me right there.
Keith Turner, you semi right about what you said. I understand what you mean about how his rotations could have hurt us or how he implements the players on the court and stuff like that. But who you can blame instead of the coach is the players.
Right.
Fournier came into this year, and I was with Fournier. Like KJ said earlier, Fournier used to torch us, man. He used to come in to torch us. In last year's playoffs, he played very well in the playoffs. So I thought Fournier coming over, I thought he was going to be a good piece to a puzzle that we were trying to put together. But he came in the beginning of the year, he stunk it up. He stunk it up, and he stunk it up bad. And so did Kemba. Kemba came in there a couple of games, he was hot. Then he went for a nosedive. He got benched, and Fournier was still trying to figure it out how to work with Randall, how to work with RJ. And just till recently, Fournier's kind of getting it. Even in some of these games towards the end of the stretch, you see Fournier, make some mishaps, and he gets a little nervous and gets scared to shoot the ball. But overall, he's come around and played some good ball. And my big thing is, Tibbs has a little bit to do with his substitutions and who he leaves in there and stuff like that. But we wouldn't be talking about this if Fournier this year was a 22-point scoring. His average was 22 points. If Kemba would have came in here, he would have been 14 points scoring with 6 assists. We wouldn't be talking about that right now. If we would have had D Rose in here to help close the games on some of these games that we lost in the last 5 or 6 games and stuff like that. So it's a lot of things that we could talk about. Yes, Tez has a little bit of the blame because he is the one that implements the team going in and out of the lineup. But the big thing is you got to put it on the players too, man. Randall wasn't playing at his best in the beginning of the year. Fournier wasn't playing at the best of the beginning of the year. RJ wasn't playing at the best in the beginning of the year. The guys didn't start gelling to somewhere around December-ish, So to put the blame so heartily on Tibbs, I don't believe that. Does he have some? I even sit and say, man, Tibbs, won't you take this guy out, man? You got this guy in 11 minutes to take him out, send him down. But in those 11 minutes last year, I wasn't complaining about it. Last year when we was doing all the stuff, because this is pretty much the same thing that Tibbs has done that did last year. Just the plays he had last year were making shots. And I mean, this year we're not making shots. And you can't so heartedly put all the blame on Tibbs. You have to also say the players that we had stunk it up. And I'm so hard, that word stunk it up. I give that word to you, Devon, because that's how these guys has been playing this year. They stink it up, man.
Because you know what it is to me? It's not even about starting, and that's what I think I try to say. Sometimes we get caught up in who's starting and who closing. I don't care who closing. Because you could start, just because you're a starter don't mean that you better than the person that's you starting in front of.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It might just that you gel with that unit more.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It don't necessarily got to mean that you better than the guy that you starting over. It might be that you just gel with that particular unit and it makes it more better. Second. I think D Rose starts over Kemba Walker all day. You know what I mean? But because D Rose probably fits better with the second unit, that's what you keep him there. And that's why I like McBride starting. I think McBride might be better with the first unit starting because he complements that first unit better. Here's why. Number one, you don't need his offense because you got Fournier, you got Randall, you got RJ. That's your 3 main scorers. Three guys right there. So you don't have to have McBride. You don't put the pressure on him trying to score the ball. You put the pressure on him to play defense, facilitate. That's where I disagree with Tibbs 100% on that one. I disagree with Tibbs to this day that he should have started McBride when Kemba Walker got took out of the rotation. But being that he didn't, he gets that for that. But as far as everybody else, Jericho Sims, he ain't ready like that. He's a good player. He's a two-way player. He's not. He played this here. He's not a full roster dude. He's a two-way player. If the Knicks organization, not Tibbs, if the Knicks organization thought Jericho Sims was that good, they would not have gave him a two-way contract. They would have gave him a full contract. If they thought he was that legit, and that's why they gave him a two-way. You know, we got a guy like hypothetically, who else? Grimes. Grimes was the 25th pick, just like Quickly was. But even though it took Derrick Rose to go down to get his minutes, but once Derrick Rose went down, he took advantage of it and he's playing regularly. You know what I mean? And all I'm saying is people like Obi Toppin, why you think that Tibbs plays Julius Randle like that? When Obi Toppin comes in the game, you got to make Julius Randle stay on the bench. You got to make Julius Randle stay on the bench. Obi Toppin don't make Julius Randle stay on the bench. He'll come in there, flare air ball. Soon as he get in there, man beat him 2 times in a row. Then what you want Tibbs to do? Should I go back to Julius Randle, or should I let Obi Toppin keep getting destroyed on the defense end? It's hard decisions to make when it's easy for us to sit up here and throw stones at these guys because you're not out there watching these guys do what they do. Obi Toppin should be a 3-point. He should be a 3-shot block per game in the NBA. He's that athletic. But he's always getting burnt on the defense. That's why I don't think he's going to be in New York after next year. I don't even think Obi Toppin's going to be here. Not long as Tibbs because he don't play defense. And as long as Tibbs here, you better be able to play defense because if not, then you ain't going to get no burn. Quentin Grimes getting burned because he can shoot and he's a 3-and-D. He's Reggie Bullock on steroids to me. Reggie Bullock can defend cats. He can knock down a 3-ball. 3-and-D. And Quentin Grimes going to be doing more than Reggie Bullock do. So that's why I like Quentin Grimes. Now, all I want to see is McBride get the opportunity. If you tell me you can roll in the next year with Quentin Grimes, McBride, KJ, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, who's going to, so I do think these guys will get their opportunity next year. I just think because of this year, you can't justify sitting $19 million on the bench. I don't care how bad Evan Fournier play. James Dolan, Leon Rose are not going to take $19 million and take him out the lineup.
Right. They
ain't going to do that. They're not taking Julius Randle $20 million and take him out of the lineup. They ain't going to do that. It's just not. It's just not feasible for them guys. So they rather say, listen, throw them in there. You know what I mean? That's what I think, man. I just think that sometimes we just got to own up to the fact that we don't have a lot of talented players. They ain't that talented to win what we was trying to do. But now that we ain't winning, now you play them all. Play them all. Put them all in there. Call up Luka Samanic. Call them up now because we're not going to the playoffs.
Right.
You call up Luka Samanic, bring in McBride, bring in Cam Reddish. Shit, let them all start now. But during the course of the season when we were trying to win games, I don't think that was their mindset. Not saying that I agree with it, but I don't think that was their mindset. We could debate about the front office all we want. We could debate about Tibbs all we want. What we say don't even matter.
Right. So the panic button pushed. I know the game is about to start, guys. The panic button's been pressed. Any idea is a great idea. Just got to put it into fruition right now.
That's right.
They rolled the dice. They lost up, but the season's not over, guys. So I'm going to give my prediction before I end this live. Knicks 102. Knicks 102 to
don't say 90.
Philadelphia to 95. 102-95.
Okay. We right the same wheelhouse right there, KJ, because I was 102 to 98. That was where I was at. So we in the same wheelhouse.
Divine, you're benching RJ for KJ.
Hey, put me on there. I get out there.
He can be our point guard.
Let me tell you, I
definitely give on the point guard. That's not a problem.
I ain't played the full court of the car. I played a couple of half court games. I ain't played the full court in a little while, but my jump is still a little crisp.
Right.
You know,
and I'm good
I got a click in my shoulder, but I still got a crisp jumper.
I don't need to score. I have 20 assists a game with this Knicks team.
Hey, listen, they could have put me in the 3-point
Look,
contest.
I work real good with Randall and RJ. I'm left-handed too, so we could work that right side. I mean that right side pretty
Hey,
efficiently.
check it out. I might not be able to work with them because we don't got a point guard. So I might not get them good looks. I might not get the good looks for where I need them from. So I might not be able to get the wide open jump shots like everybody else not getting. And let me ask you a question though. Would you ever consider putting RJ at the 1?
I would consider Grimes at the 1 before RJ.
Okay, I just thought when I look at Magic Johnson, how he got down, he was big 6'8", 6'9", but he always got downhill. RJ get downhill so much.
That's
What we need a point guard to do, break down the defense to get downhill. I'm like, when did they did try to put RJ in at the 1 just to see how it go? 6'7", 6'8" point guard, like Devontae Murray, what 6'7", 6'6", 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And RJ got playmaking skill. I'm like, well,
he does.
I'm like, why point guard was that bad? Why you didn't try RJ Barrett at the 1 just to see how the hell shit go? You know what I mean? And then you could bring Cam Reddish in there. I think it's positionless basketball. Shit, it can't be no worse than the point guard we got balling out there right now.
Well, I'm just saying.
Just
saying.
I would love this. I was like, man, when they put RJ, because you know what, you notice that him and Randall, they always got the ball in their hand anyway most of the time.
I mean, why not? I mean, you probably might see some of that towards the end of the year to have him out there. He did a little bit of it last night. He was running the point last night. So, I mean, I can't say that he couldn't do it. He was doing it not last night. The last game they played, he was up there telling people to go cut through and do all that other stuff, making the moves. He could pass the ball a little bit, and he he's a threat for his jumper. So I wouldn't mind. I mean, for the end of the year to see what happens, well, throw it out there. Let's see what happens. You know, he was running to the last game, so why not?
Hey, D-Nice, I agree with you. I don't think Tibbs should be starting him. That's one thing I agree. Why you got Alsburg playing the 1? He can dribble, but he ain't a point guard.
I don't see why they doing that right now. I see Burks as being a good staple for our second unit. If we're gonna go down in the first quarter, you might as well go ahead and put McBride in there and see what he does. Who knows what he could do if we go down? Okay, but I think moving Burks around as much as he did really messed up our second unit. It really hurt our second unit, and not having Burks in the second unit, especially now that we don't have D Rose there, I think that hurts the second unit with playing all the young guys together and no one really to pull them together as that quote unquote veteran like we all talk about to lead them in the right direction. Everybody is willy-nilly sometimes, so.
Yeah, I think Kemba Walker threw a monkey wrench in this whole thing. I just think he really did. He threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. They gambled on it. It wasn't that wasn't their first pick, their second pick, or their third pick. They gambled on it, and it didn't work out. So, and I think that was.
And let this be said too, Knicks Nation. Some of the guys that we wanted to get, and some of the guys that we wanted to pick up, even in the trade deadline and stuff like that. Knicks did not want to make a bad move. Knicks did not want to do a move like we did when we got Melo, when we give up 5, 4, 5, 6 guys, 2, 3 draft picks, 2, 3 second round draft picks. They wasn't ready to do that because they're looking long term. Those picks that we would have gave up to try to get someone in here that's only going to be a stopgap or something like that, we could do that in the summertime. We could do that in the summertime and make probably do something a little better. Peace, KJ.
Yeah, real talk, man. Yo, it's a great show, man. Great debate. That's what we here for. We love it, every bit of it. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody right, nobody wrong, just difference of opinion. That's why it's Knicks Real Talk. Ain't no hyperbole. It's real thought, real feelings, real passion, real honesty. Keep it real up in here. Don't come up here with no hyperbole. That's why I'm glad I got a chat the way we got it. Because you cats is 100 all the time. And that's what we want. We want to show where people just speak truth to power. And let their emotions be real. You know what I mean? We real up here. And, whether we agree to disagree, we the realest show out here. Because we keep it real 100% all the time. You know what I mean? And that's what we got to do. You know what I mean? We just got to keep the passion. The passion. I wish our players had the passion like our chat got it. Got chatting us. If the Knicks players had passion like they're chatting us, the Knicks would probably be down there, be in the second seed.
We'd be like 65 and 11 right now. How many games?
Right. And that's what we miss. We're missing the energy, man. We're missing energy from the team. Let's hope Tibbs change it up today. I want to see McBride get 20 minutes, but I do believe y'all got to just be patient. Wait a couple of more games.
It's coming.
If we lose a couple
one
more
way or
games,
another,
it doesn't matter. I think you're going to see all these guys. They might call us some contaminants. You know what I mean? You never know. So let's hope that we'll see how it goes the next couple of games, man. But great show. Salute to the chat. D nice, all you cats, man. Y'all got to stay on fire. Real talk. Parish and everybody, Keith, everybody, man. Your cats is wild. What y'all do, man. Don't think I don't take it. I'm not taking it for granted. I love to go to talk about what you guys talk about, to be able to throw your thoughts out here, because we got to always see it's two sides to every story. You know what I mean? Just make sure that we cross some T's and dotting all I's. But the main thing, we want the Knicks to win. As a fan base, we want our team to be good. We want them cats to get to the next level. We thirsting for a championship. 1972. We thirsting for a championship. We had 40-something years to 50 years to get this thing right. But we still trying. You know what I mean? So we always going to have these type of debates about it, because guys like me and Sean have been around that been waiting for this championship thing to run since 1971, 73.
Last time the Knicks won a championship I was 3 years old.
Right. So we know we definitely want to see it happen, in our lifetime. You know what I mean? So a lot of you guys might got a little bit more longer leash on life, but we just want to see the Knicks win, man. That's what it all boiled down to. And if we go into next year, if Tibbs ain't the guy, then we bring another guy in here. That's all you could do. If you don't like Tibbs where he get down, we bring another guy. Let's see if he can if it's Johnny Bryan or who else is out there that you think gonna be able to run the ship right. Because I do think no matter what coach you bring in here, you gotta have talent. You gotta have talent. You know what I mean? I don't care who you bring in here, you gotta have talent. Talent winning this league. I don't care who your coach is, you gotta have talent. You ain't got talent, supreme talent, you won't be winning in this league. Talent. The reason why they won last year, Antetokounmpo was the talent. Drew Holiday is the talent. The one year before that, LeBron James is the talent. Anthony Davis is the talent. The year before that, it go on and on and on. You got to bring the talent up in here, man. You know what I mean? If you want to win, if you just want to just mosey along through the season and don't care about the wins and losses, then that's a different story. But if you're a franchise who want to win, then you got to bring in supreme talent. You know what I mean? That's what it is. My man, Holy, appreciate you coming in today, Holy. Yeah, me and you as well, man. I'm an Eagle fan. I go fly, Eagle fly. But salute, Holy, thanks for coming in, my man. Appreciate that. To the chat, y'all already know, man. We gonna get up out of here. The game starting. Y'all enjoy the game. Knicks play again, I think, on the 2nd. I think that would be Tuesday. They down in Philadelphia in the city of brotherly love on Tuesday night. So they got a home and home. But let's go enjoy the game. Y'all cats enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you cats. Knicks Real Talk pregame. Knicks and Sixers on Tuesday. Am I right about that? Yes, Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay. So
I think it's Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Sunday. Wednesday, yeah. 28th is Monday. Wednesday.
We're at 20. The
Wednesday,
2nd, right?
You cats on the pregame show. Y'all enjoy it, man. Y'all be safe out there, man. Y'all already know what it is. Knicks Real Talk, Shop Powers, the chat. I got 105, 103.
Close game. I feel
close game. Mitch Robinson, I see what he's gonna hold down there. B try to, and let's see what we're gonna do with James Harden. Gonna be a fun game to watch, man. Y'all guys have a good one and be safe. And I'll see y'all guys on the next one, man. Peace out.
Let's get it.
Yo, salute.